drummingforlife.com. Hey there, it's Vaughn at drummingforlife.com. Aloha, hope you're doing well. By the way, I always say aloha at the beginning of my videos because I lived in Hawaii for 16 years. And 5 years ago, I moved here to Japan. So I always still carry that aloha with me everywhere I go. So today I want to share with you how I swing and sing my ride cymbal. I want you to be able to do the same thing. So what I'm going to share with you today is kind of my technique and my approach to playing jazz swing ride cymbal. And I think it's going to help you really get a nice forward motion in your playing, and I think it's also going to help you open up the sound of your ride cymbal. Now before we get into that, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel if you feel like you like what you see here, and go ahead and swish that like button and leave a comment. I love to hear from you, and I do respond to all of my comments. So what I'm going to show you now is I'm going to just go ahead and get into it and demonstrate how I play my jazz swing on the ride cymbal. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. All right, so what I'm doing is, I call it a skipping stone technique. And what I'm doing is, if you just imagine yourself go out to a river or a lake or the ocean, and you find a flat rock on the beach or on the shore, pick it up, and I'm sure you've all done this. You whip it on the water, and you see what it does. What it usually does is it skips one big skip first, and then it has a bunch of little skips after that, right? Well, that first skip, we're going to assign that to counts 2 and 4. Okay? So our first skip of that stone is going to be, this big stroke, this big accent on counts 2 and 4. The other notes are that kind of do-do-do-do-do-do. So to get into the pattern, what you maybe want to do is start off by just a little tap on count 1, okay? And then you're going to go right to that big accent 2. And notice how you can see how my stick goes way back here. This is key. This is really important. You really want to get the most bounce you can out of your ride cymbal playing. That's going to allow you to go faster. It's also going to open up the sound of your ride cymbal as well. So you're going to bounce it back and then just let the stick drop like this. All I'm doing is just kind of moving, flexing my fingers a little bit, and just to get the stick to move and to go down. Gravity's doing the rest of the work. All right. There's really very little effort involved here. All right. So, or you can start with that 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. All right. So what I'm doing is with my my arm, I like to do a thing I call the mini molar. The molar stroke is a wonderful technique that allows you to get a lot of bounce in your playing. And I kind of do it like there's the big molar stroke, the big one you practice in the beginning is this kind of big motion. But as you go faster, I call it the mini molar because it becomes smaller because of the economy of motion you have to use to actually play faster. And so it's just kind of this kind of pumping motion to the side like this. But you can also just come at it straight down if you want to just play that way. You can do that too, whatever your technique is. But the idea here is to relax. Don't get tense. The other thing to keep in mind is that, and I'll put the overhead angle now, you can see as I'm playing, see how the stick is always in the same place. Doesn't matter if I'm doing that kind of side-to-side motion, the stick always, like my mini molar, the stick still ends up in the same area, right? It's not dancing all over the cymbal like this. We don't want to do this because we want consistency in our sound, so we want to make sure that we're always hitting that cymbal in the same place, okay? You can move it around. A little softer sound out here, a little more metallic sound here. Up to the bell. Of course, I'm playing on a flat ride. We can move over to this one. All right, so that's really how I approach playing ride cymbal and how I keep it, that kind of forward motion happening. Now, one of the things that I hear drummers do, especially amateur drummers that are kind of learning how to play jazz, is there tends to be an accent, a heavier accent on counts 1 and 3. And this doesn't work so good for jazz because jazz needs that 2 and 4 to give you that forward motion in the music. If you don't have that forward motion, the music kind of feels like when you learn how to drive a car for the first time and you're learning how to use a stick shift or learning standard transmission, you get the timing wrong with the pedals and the car goes, whoa, and you stop like this, you know. I don't know if any of you have ever experienced that. I did that a lot. I destroyed my father's clutch on his car doing that. But this is kind of this is what happens when we focus on counts 1 and 3. Kind of sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And surprisingly, I hear a lot of drummers do that. And even some drummers who are out there doing gigs and things, and I hear them do that. And I kind of think, well, that's kind of their interpretation of it. But to really open up the sound of your cymbal and to open up the sound of the music, you need to focus on that 2 and 4. So let me share with you. I'll play both ways. All right, I'll play the way that sometimes I hear drummers doing it, where they're accenting on counts 1 and 3, and then I'll play it the way I play it. And I want you to see if you can hear the difference. Maybe leave a comment, see if you could hear the difference between the two. All right. One, two, a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4. All right. 1, 2, 1, a 2, a 3, a 4. let me know. Drop a comment below. Let me know if you could hear the difference between the two. In a live situation, you really hear it quickly. Recording studio too, when you're listening back to your takes, you can tell, man, when the cymbal's breathing and it's singing, which is what I mean when I say make your ride cymbal swing and sing. This is the singing part. We want it to be able to fully resonate. We don't want to kind of hammer it so where it's not allowing it to resonate fully between our big strokes, our accented strokes. So just something to think about when you're playing your ride cymbal pattern. Now, another thing I want to mention is that when you're playing with your hi-hat, you want to make sure that your hi-hat is lining up tight, really nice and tight with the accents on 2 and 4 on your ride cymbal. I always say drumming is a cumulative effect. So if you have any one little thing that doesn't sound quite right and it's flamming or it's not lining up right, it makes your whole sound not right. So the attention to detail is very important in jazz drumming. And so you want to make sure that you get that hi-hat and that ride cymbal lined up nice and tight like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so I think you can kind of hear, how it's real tight, always consistent, always in the same place. Now, as you go faster with your technique, with your playing, you kind of need to change your technique, and I'm sharing that in a separate video, and I'll put the link below to that one as well. But this is right now we're just talking about kind of slow to medium, maybe even up-tempo swing, but not blazing fast. That's where the technique actually changes when you do that. But the idea of the accent on 2 and 4 still holds true. So anything you're going to do with your swing ride cymbal playing, make sure you really nail that 2 and 4. Make sure you let it just ricochet, let it bounce nicely, naturally off of the cymbal. Just pull it nice and easy down with your fingers to get those last 2 strokes, and you'll really be good to go. There really isn't any more to it than that, and I think you're going to have a heck of a lot of fun, and you're going to swing really, really hard, and you're going to feel really good when you play. So hope you'll check that out. Just a few more things I want to share with you. I have a blog. I just put up a new blog post last night. I do a lot of, every week I put a new blog post up for my vonbaronmusic.com Von Baron Drummer blog. And so just a few more things I want to share with you. I have a blog that's just specifically created for you, for drummers who want to improve their drumming, and in particular their jazz drumming. So I'm constantly putting up new blog posts, so I hope you go check that out at vonbaronmusic.com. I also teach private Zoom lessons, and I use all of these camera angles in this exact studio to make that happen. If you are interested in doing that, you can sign up for lessons at vonbaronstore.com. While you're there, you can also download some great drumless tracks or drum practice tracks that don't have the drums, they have other instruments. Most of them are with actual real musicians playing their instruments, and many of them, most of them also are jazz focused. So I think that'll really help you get your jazz playing together and help you feel comfortable playing with other people, so that when you get to the bandstand, all that work you did with the drumless tracks is going to translate directly to your playing with others, which is the whole goal of what I teach, which is for you to connect your drumming and your sound to music and to other musicians. This is the key. So the drumless tracks will definitely help you do that. I also have a drum school now. It's called jazzdrumschool.com, very simple name. And over there I have my brushes mastery course, and it's really the most complete online brushes course ever created. And it's got everything in there to help you gain supreme confidence in your brush playing and be able to really use it in musical contexts and use it on your gigs, use it in your recording session, use that stuff wherever you need to, rehearsals. So I hope you'll also check that out. So thanks again for watching, and as I always say, keep on drumming. Take care.
drummingforlife.com